about on Front Street. And in my day, when you came down here, it was all warehouses and then wharves on the other side of the street. So that was all the South River that came in. And you can still see that there's much of the construction is very new down here. And that has to do with a great fire that we had in 1914, but also the fact that this area was very, very marshy up until they finished draining it in the early part of the 20th century. But someone just asked me about Mr. Pickering. I don't know if any of you have heard of Timothy Pickering, one of our local lights. Now, I mentioned Mr. Gray earlier. Mr. Gray was let's say a conservative Federalist who became a Democratic Republican. If you went to the other side of the spectrum of the Federalist Party here in Salem, you would meet Mr. Pickering. Mr. Pickering was one of those who was constantly calling for New England to secede from the Union over Mr. Madison's Little War, as he referred to it. He, of course, had been Secretary of State, I believe, and War under General Washington. So he always held the banner of the Federalists very high. And my husband said, you knew in town meeting when Mr. Pickering got up to talk, you had better make sure that you had a comfortable seat, because it was going to be some time before he sat down again. So he was a very vehement gentleman and much beloved as a character in town. But as I said earlier, you need to be very selective as to who you invite over to dinner if Mr. Pickering is going to be there. So do we have any questions before we go on? All right.